This is going to be part 2 of a tutorial on using Rusty Stumps HVAC fittings. So what I have here are pieces of Evergreen tubing I've cut up, and over here various HVAC fittings from Rusty Stumps. We're going to assemble this into a small display. What I got is what I have. I designed these and Rusty Stumps produced them. And Walt of Rusty Stumps, he sent me his first production, or his first printing I should say. And basically he gave me one of each since it was just a test. But he did have a couple extra where I had 2 of. And so based upon that I come up with a little diorama. So this is about this. I've got a needle file here for some slight filing needed on the parts. The Evergreen tubing has a nominal sizing. What that means is, I believe these are made much like pasta is made. A pasta machine, there's a die, and the plastic is squeezed, the hot plastic is squeezed through the die, and it's pretty close. It can be a thousandth or two larger or smaller though than what the nominal size is. So it helps to clean up a little bit. Take your needle file, sandpaper, whatever you need, clean this up. And the same thing with the fittings. It doesn't take much. Remember, there's 2 sides to a needle file. There's a side with actual teeth, and there's a side that's smooth. So take the smooth side, put that against what you're filing, and just give it a couple of strokes, just enough to clean up anything from the printing itself. And what you get is a part that will fit into the appropriate sized tube. And just make sure you have a nice tight fitting, and go through and do this for everything. Pre-fit before we attempt to glue. So I've started gluing the stuff together, and I am using 5-minute epoxy. In the past I have used super glue, but the problem, as you should know, super glue, if you're not exactly correct, you're basically stuck with what you got once it sets instantly. Your 5-minute epoxy gives you time to play around with the joints a little bit. Also wipe off any excess that comes out. So I'm starting to assemble it. I'm not pushing it real fast because I'm trying to get it right now. Joiners. The joiners are for joining. In other words, the tubing fits in the end. Here's to the square Evergreen, and the joiners will be glued into the low holes. That's a 1/8 inch pin on these joiners. So I drilled a 9/64 hole. Since there's a flange on the back, that just allows it to go in faster. So I'm working my way up to it. So what we got here, this is the roof I made up just for display. We got the ducting all painted. I painted a primer gray, the cheapest primer, which is best for models. I mean, the cheaper means the thinner it is. Normally that's a downside for primer, but for modeling, in my opinion, the cheaper 96-cent primer from Walmart works fine. As I said, it's a thin layer. You don't want a lot of pigment. And then I use something called, well, it's not called, it's this right here. That is a folk art brushed metal, and it is a brushed silver. So it adds a little bit of sheen, just a little bit, so it's a little bit more metallic. I've got a couple pieces of wood to hold the ducting in place for I put I put a super glue. My new favorite being Gorilla super glue. So I've got glue at the underside where the ducting went through the roof. Let that set up, and then the wood will be removed. I just got to add some supports to the add a little color to the duct. That'll be the next step. I had some a dark gray and an off-white, and basically made dark gray where they would have put sealant, and white splotches and dark splotches and some shadows. I think it helps.